Hello and good morning. It is December the 9th. Can you believe it? I'm off to work in a minute, so I thought I would get on very quickly and give you an update on yesterday because it was a very funny video. Apologies for that. And do today's quickly. I am going out and about this afternoon. We've got our show and tell at work. If you don't know, I teach at a theatre school on a Saturday morning, and we've got our show and tell to parents this afternoon. I would normally go to my parents, but I've got that instead. And then I think we're going for a little drink after. So anything that I do out and about, I will show you in tomorrow's. And I'm also going to do an update on my Advent knitting tomorrow. So I want to try and get this chooching. Do you know, yesterday, I'm sorry to go off on a tangent already. I got home from school. We went and bought our Christmas tree, and I went and ordered the Christmas meat. Hurrah! I've started Christmas prep. And I did 2 short vlogs, 3 minutes ish, and it took me from about 5 o'clock to film till about 7:45 to edit both. Ridiculous, so short. I think it's the software I'm using is built into my PC, and it is very, very slow at importing your video clips before you can export them. I think I've said that before. Anyway, I'm already wittering on. I sound like paper and twine. I'm supposed to be being grown up on this channel. Yes. And I haven't figured out a nice spot to film. My wallpaper that I love in my craft room is very busy. I like it, but it's very busy for a backdrop. Anyway, I just got a cup of Earl Grey tea. I was awake at 4:45 and I got up at 6 and I thought, I'll do a bit of stitching. I can show you this. So the Advent that I am unboxing on my Paper and Twine channel is a Bothy Threads Stitch Advent. And this is the first kit. I could do with some white paper to show it behind really. The light is appalling. I am so sorry. But I've made quite good progress with that now. I reckon I've done about half of it. Yeah, so I sat at about 6 o'clock. I thought, I'm going to get up, and I pithered a bit and made myself a cup of tea and sat and listened to Farming Today. Yeah, a bit of Farming Today and the news on Radio 4. I sadly heard that Ryan O'Neill died. He was only 82. Isn't it funny? The older you get when somebody dies, like if I was 20, I'd be going, he was 82. But, you know, now I'm nearing the big 60. 82 is something that I strive for. I'd like to live into my 80s as long as I'm not infirm. Anyway, look, it's ridiculous. No wonder people are switching off in their droves. Please don't switch off. This is the yarn from yesterday, and again, it is really difficult to show you the colours, but we've got kind of nutmeg and caramel and like a very pale aubergine colour. So that is yesterday's yarn in a little bit more. I don't know, you might have seen it in better colours yesterday. Doesn't bode well for today, does it? And the story from yesterday. I got contact lenses in, so I could be making a lot of mistakes. This is the bit I know a lot of you really like. In Foxglove Cottage, Beth could hear a flurry of sound and tried to make it out. Was it birds twittering or an excited squeaking? She shook her head and carried on with the supper. In the woodland, the hum of sound grew louder as more animals joined the gathering. The big surprise to them all was the sudden appearance of Angus, who, standing there in an aubergine-coloured waistcoat and matching scarf, cut quite a figure. So maybe the yarn is something to do with Angus's outfit. The animals began to speak in hushed tones and kept glancing in the direction of the handsome badger, who was rarely seen amongst them. Next to him, Copperfield fidgeted and hopped from foot to foot. "We are delighted to see you here, dear friend." Arthur smiled down at Angus. "It seems," Angus's sonorous voice rumbled around the gathering, "that this young rabbit thinks I bear more than a passing resemblance to Ebenezer Scrooge." He looked down at Copperfield, who was shaking his head vigorously. "I didn't. It was just," Copperfield stuttered. Angus held up a hand to deter any response. Copperfield believes that I should take part in the performance. He looked slowly around, nodding to acquaintances, before announcing slowly, I have decided to accept. Copperfield punched the air, and there was a general signal of approval from the group. Should, he indicated Arthur on his branch, my dear friend Arthur be in agreement? Arthur blushed. Somewhat difficult for a blackbird, you're thinking, but in truth he did indeed blush. I think I can speak on behalf of the assembled group, Angus, and say that we should be delighted. A moment later he was gone, and there was much, would you believe it? And, well, I nevers, to be heard. Bessie had a large pot of soup bubbling on the stove when Benny, Amy, Estella and Copperfield burst in through the front door with the news. Edmund had been given the role of the narrator, a perfect role for a wise owl, while Cyril, the squirrel, was the ghost of Christmas present. Arthur was dubious about this one, and Edward Hare was to be Bob Cratchit. Arthur had become very flustered about this when Edward asked if he could dance rather than walk, and perhaps jig on the spot to keep warm when there was no coal in the fire. Estella and Amy were in the choir, and Copperfield had the role of Tiny Tim. That's today's extract finished. Now let's see if I can get my eyes in focus and have a look at the quote from A Christmas Carol. I am the ghost of Christmas present, said the spirit. Look upon me. Scrooge reverently did so. Its dark brown curls were long and free as its genial face, its sparkling eye, its open hand, its cheery voice, its unconstrained demeanour, and its joyful air. Little English literature question for you. When a word is repeated over and over in a sentence, like its sparkling eye, its genial face, its open hand, what is that technique? I know that Kath S would know if she was watching this channel. Comment down below what the technique is for that use of repetition. It has a special name. That is number 8 we can put back. And here, in its lovely little parcel, is number 9. Let's have a look and see what is inside today. Oh, I did notice I put a short on unboxing my advent when it arrived. Oh, we've only got a little story today. That's good. And Sherry Iris actually commented. Bless her. I'm so honoured. She's like yarn royalty to me. She is. Anyway, let's have a little look. Looks through the paper like it could be caramel golden colours again. Oh, now this is interesting. Look at that. I like that very much indeed. Do you know, if I wasn't going to use this for something, I don't know, and I might take it out anyway, I think this would be quite nice for that little deer pattern in the festive knits. Let's put you back in your little bag. I can't wait to see them all together. In you go. In you go. Right. I've had a thunk as well. I'll share my thunk with you in a moment. December the 9th. That's today. Yes. Just saying, oh, it's a real shame. I mean, it's good. I think I mentioned on my other channel that I've been feeling really tired, and I had an oncology appointment last week. It was a telephone one. It was supposed to be my last one. I was supposed to be being discharged, and they're so good. People moan about the NHS, but I have honestly had nothing but positive experiences with it, particularly during COVID when I had my second cancer diagnosis. So I was supposed to be being discharged, but I said, look, I'm still feeling really tired. No other symptoms. I'm just tired all the time, and I don't know why. I'm taking vitamins, you know. Anyway, no to do is book me a blood test, which I've got next week. CT scan, 8:20 next Saturday morning. So there goes my lying. Anyway, it's good because it'll get us up and out, and go and see my mum and dad. Take my dad to see my mum. And we've got tickets to see the band Madness in Birmingham next week, so that'll be really lovely. Anyway, December the 9th. Freddie the rabbit was jumping up and down outside the home of Arthur. His chest was puffed out and he held a letter in his hand. Opening it, Arthur read quietly and then looked at Freddie. Our friends from Drewston Hall have heard of the performance and are coming over on Christmas Eve to join us. Freddie was delighted. Arthur realised there was much more organising now to be done with so many guests and flew off in a flap of wings, almost knocking his Christmas hat off. He realised as he flew that he wouldn't have to make a longer list. No, that he would have to make a longer list, and his tummy fluttered with joy. And then the little quote from A Christmas Carol today is, "There is nothing in the world so irresistibly contagious as laughter and good humour." And that's something that Scrooge was in very short supply of at the beginning of the novel, wasn't he? Thank you so much, Sherry Iris. I love it, love it, love it. Scrunching up tissue paper. Right, let's have a little look at the pattern of the day today. When I was awake between 4:45 and when I eventually decided to drag myself out of bed, I had a look on my Ravelry library. Now this will show you how ignorant I am about how Ravelry works. I put a load of stuff in my library if I liked it. I didn't know you could favourite it. I found this in my library. I put it in there quite a while ago. I do like how they've updated Ravelry, and everything now is in month and year order from when you added it to your library. Anyway, I've put this in my festive favourites now, and it's called The Winter Wrap by Andrea Jurgrau. I hope that's how you say it. The pattern is written in English. There are different sizes based on your own measurements. Now, it is quite an expensive pattern. It is $12.50, $12 US and 50 cents. But looking at it, I think it says that there are 21. Oh, it's a 23-page pattern. Includes everything you need to make a custom wrap. So it's a wrap, and you can have it with, I think, or without sleeves. And I love this particular image of it. I'll link it in the description box. But it looks kind of like a big snowflake on the back. And it's got, it's knitted in mohair. I think the pattern, I can hear music, is that me? Oh, and I think my husband's just put some music on in the kitchen, sorry. Let me just close that image down. They suggest Rowan Kid Silk Haze, which is terribly expensive now. It is lovely. Shulana Kid Setter or Elan.com Kodo Lame. Now, I would like to do it in a kind of kid silk mohair. And I'm thinking I am going to knit this, and I'm going to do it in a winter white because I think that is such a lovely colour. And I think I might do it in Knitting for Olive. It's done on 3.5mm needles. You need a lace weight yarn. And it takes between 1,097 metres up to 1,646 metres, I guess dependent on your size. But I just thought that'd be lovely. If you were going to a winter ball, to have that over... not that I'm ever going to be going to a winter ball. I thought that would be lovely. Yeah, and it's quite long. If I show you that picture, come on. It's quite long. Yeah. So that is today's pattern of the day. I don't think I've got anything else to say. I'm going to get this chooching. I'm planning on staying out quite some time, so this is probably going to go quite late tonight unless I can get it chooching quickly, because I've got to get my shoes on. I've got to go in 20 minutes. Right, that's me. I will be back with a bit more drivel tomorrow. Do take care, everybody, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Take care. Whatever you're stitching, put love into every stitch.